We're going to be talking about, I am already in one of the games, going to be talking about weeks 3 and 4. As you can see, I've already played week 5, but I'm a little bit behind right now. So we're going to catch up today, and then in about 12 hours, I play San Francisco, and immediately after that, I will probably film the next episode. So that should be out sometime... what day is it today? Sunday now. It should be out sometime Monday night, I believe. If I film it quickly. Little bit of housekeeping. I wrote an article about a trade with the Indianapolis Colts. I was getting Michael Pittman Jr. for a second and a fourth. Michael Pittman Jr. is a very solid number 1 receiver. Probably better as a number 2. Doesn't have the speed to take take you deep, but he will make a lot of really good catches in the middle, sideline, etc. He's a good player. I'm a big fan of him. He's got a contract for this year, about 12-13 million. At least that's what it would be to me after the problem was he has 18 million cap pens over 2 years, 9 million apiece, and that put Indianapolis $900,000 over the cap, or the cap penalty, which for this season is 20 million plus 1 million for bronze incentive. So unfortunately, we couldn't complete the trade. I'd already written the article about it, so I guess I get to write an article saying that the trade didn't go through. Just added content, I guess. Can't complain about that, but unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do. Still looking to make some moves for quarterback, offensive line, receiver. There's still a lot we have a lot of options on the table. I made an offer to Fields, but I was a team-friendly deal. He obviously didn't accept it. I might try a custom contract deal just to try to get his number down a little bit. I have one of those for gold tier incentive, so I might try to get him. Obviously, there's been talk about C.J. Stroud or McCarthy from the Vikings becoming available in the offseason. Their price will be fairly high, but not restrictively so. So that might be an option. I might draft a quarterback. I don't really know. I'm not going to show the scouting college players because I don't want to give anybody a free look. But at this point, there's only like 20, 30%. I think 40% on the high end. We're week 6. There's too much time. So, we're very active. Maybe a little too active, starting to annoy people, trying to talk about trades all the time, but I want to get in before the really big rush happens in week 8 and 9. See if I can get maybe a deal done or two while I still have them. Get somebody who can fill some positions of need, not just for this season, but I want to get somebody who I have under contract for next season so I can have a pretty good idea of how much money I have left to spend so I can make a decision on quarterback, or I can make a decision on Fredrickson. ETN's probably going to be a franchise tag just to save a little money and also to not have to worry about his any possible regression the next couple of seasons. But that's all to be determined really right now. And instead, for 20 more minutes, we'll go into week 3. 28-20 loss at the hands of... Now this says Justin Fields played. He did not. This was the last week of Trevor Lawrence. part of the loss for this game was that Trevor Lawrence missed a couple passes that he really shouldn't have missed, including one where he was completely, I want to say Brian Thomas Jr. was completely wide open. There was no pressure. It was a corner route that just blew away the user corner, which we'll talk about in a minute. And he sailed the pass out of bounds. That could have been a first down. That could have been first down and more. We ended up having to punt. He also had another play later on where he missed ETN. That could have also been a big play, gotten points. We lost by 8. If we get both of those passes, we could have won that game. Not going to say we should have won that game, but we could have. And I got to a breaking point in this game where I just couldn't keep playing with Trevor Lawrence if he's just going to keep throwing passes out of bounds and too far for an open receiver. This is where $40 million for that. I couldn't do it anymore. I got rid of him. This was not a Justin Fields game. Justin Fields' first game was next week. So unfortunately, some of these stats are not going to be correct, but we managed to keep Gaston Walter mostly in check. I'm pretty sure this was a quarterback that was mine in last game with Minnesota. Traded him to the Raiders. He was 234 yards. 15 to 16 it looks really good, but like 6 of them were drag routes. So a little artificially inflated. The Raiders have a really good ball control kind of stop. We're going to put a drag route and a crosser, or a drag route and a deep in on the same play. If you stop one, we'll throw to the other. Pick your poison. It's an incredibly efficient offense. It's a really annoying offense to play against because it's so efficient, and you just, every third down, you kind of get that feeling like, ooh, I might get off the field, and then of course you're not, because he's going to complete a pass that's going to get him a couple. My defense just couldn't make the plays when I needed them. I think we had a pick 6 in this one, so the offense managed to put up 13 points. So 1 touchdown and a bunch of field goals. It just wasn't enough. His defense is, for my money, one of the best in the league. It's really hard to play because, if I remember correctly, he is a cornerback user. And those are just so frustrating to play against because you have no idea what they're going to do. If they're in zone, they're going to play the deeper end of the zone so they can kind of cover any routes over the top, but also the one underneath. So if you have a crossing route, or if you have an in, or if you have any of those routes, they'll be able to make plays on either one. And unlike when you're doing that with a middle linebacker, where there's just a lot of space in the middle of the field, as a corner, you only really have a third of the field to cover. So if you throw it underneath, they can come down really easily. Try to throw it deep, they can get back really easily. And you're obviously throwing the ball farther away, so the ball travels through the air more, gives them more time to react. It's just, if you're really good at it, and not many people are, but this guy is, the Raiders definitely are. If you're good at it, you can make plays on the ball and make just everything difficult for the offense. Either way, it was incredibly difficult to play against him. His defense is incredible. His offense is efficient. It's efficient to the point of being annoying, and you hate it. But he played really well, and he came out with the win. I think both games that I played against them have been 1-score games. We play really tight games. I think every game I've played in this season has been a 1-score game, except for this one against the Falcons. Including the next game we're going to talk about against the Kansas City Chiefs. Hello, segue. This was a better game for us, despite what the score might suggest. It was definitely a close game, but my issue This was Justin Fields' first game, 261 yards, a touchdown, and an interception, 18 to 24. His interception was on just a bad read for me. I thought I saw something, turned into a pick six that gave the Chiefs a lead when I thought I might be able to kind of, if I could score and put up points, I could extend my own lead. Instead, the Chiefs' interception, I think I got the ball back with 3 minutes to play, but Fields made a couple plays after, got a fourth down pass on the run, scrambling out, trying to make something happen. I just threw the ball on the run. Receiver made the catch. I think it was Fredrickson. Just got upfield a little bit. Got a first down. Continued the drive. We kick a field goal to win it. It wasn't explosive offensively, but it was efficient, which is everything I want. Justin Fields has been really good for me so far in 2 games. Even though I'm considering not bringing him back, that is mostly because of how big his contract is. If I could get him for what I'm paying him now, which is like 13 to 15 million, I would take that in a heartbeat. He doesn't do a lot, but he does exactly what I need. ETN, on the other hand, has not been doing exactly what I need. 69 yards and 16 carries. It's just not enough. I haven't been able to really get him going this season. He's nowhere near the top of the rushing league like he was last season. It's just been a really frustrating year, but this was the first game with a new playbook. Last game was my last one, and I couldn't continue running the playbook I was running. It was mostly my playbook from last year, but I didn't like some of the plays anymore. They just felt like they weren't getting open anymore. I needed to get some of them out of there because I just stopped calling some plays that I used to, just because the routes they didn't work anymore. Maybe there'd been an update, or maybe I was just running into bad defenses, but it just felt like I couldn't rely on, and I'm not saying routes have to get open every play, don't get me wrong, but I just felt like some routes or some plays that I was running, it was, if I couldn't get one route open, I didn't have anything else on the field I liked, and that's not a good play to pick, especially when they call the right defense, and then you're just screwed. So I deconstructed my entire playbook, rebuilt it for this game, tested it out. It went mostly fine. It was efficient. Moved the ball fairly well, again, except for the running game, which didn't do a lot. But, like, that's still 100 yards on 23 carries. It's not terrible. It's not great. But I then went through my playbook again. After the Rams game, I took this playbook into the next game. We'll talk about that on the next episode, which I think I don't know if I said, but I will probably be filming tonight or tomorrow. We took it into the next game. Got a chance to really use some of the plays again, see how I felt with them. I've deconstructed that playbook. Took the 3, 4, 5 plays that I didn't really like out of that book, put a couple new plays in. I've tested it a little bit in NBC, but that was just CPU game. So we'll see. Playbook's just kind of a work in progress. Just keep plugging away, trying to just add new formations, or not formation, but add new wrinkles to the play, find different plays within the playbook. And I have a lot of plays in my playbook. I have 400, I think. And I think a good amount of like formations and whatnot. So I'm just, if I don't feel like plays give me what I want, I look for different plays in the book that I can plug and play and test them out. And this is with a new quarterback and a receiver about to leave. This is kind of the right time to be experimenting and try to figure out what my offense is or what it's going to be going forward. So this was, as I said, the first game of a new offense, basically. Still a run-first offense, but the passing game was different, felt a little different. Brian Thomas Jr. had a really good game. In this game, Michael Mayer got hurt after this first catch. Ingram had an incredible catch over a defender that put me in position to score. Fredrickson, he's going to hit free agency probably. I've put him on the trade block multiple times. He's about 1,800 points. Now, his contract is nothing, but it's over at the end of the season, and nobody wants to spend 1,800 points right now. Maybe closer to the deadline, if they think they're going to be able to make a title run, they might not so much care about, a prospect or a draft pick or whatever, and maybe they'll make a move. But either way, I don't see him being on my team going forward, especially just with the way the season has planned out. Defensively, Hackett had a really nice game. I've got him signed as my primary user. He's a star development rookie. Gets a lot of action. I'm probably going to use him as my Aluakun replacement in the long term. But right now, Hackett really just only plays when I'm in my base defense. And he still had 9 tackles, 2 for loss. Devin Lloyd had an interception. It was a good game. The field goal at the end really, it was kind of a nail biter, and I was really worried I was going to miss it. But luckily, I was able to get down the field and do what I had to do. When I got Justin Fields, he had 1 touchdown, no interceptions. So 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in his game so far. Both interceptions were actually just my fault. They weren't bad passes. In fact, he hasn't really missed any passes. A couple have fallen incomplete, obviously, but he hasn't, thrown a ball where I'm like, where the hell is that going? Why did that land 5 yards out of bounds? How do you miss that receiver? He hasn't had that problem yet. Whereas I had that problem a lot with Trevor Lawrence, who's supposed to be better, but this is all a work in progress. This season was... I'm trying to compete, but for the most part, I'm just trying to figure out the team long term, build. This is a really big off season coming up. Trying to get all my players built up and get my team figured out for seasons 3, 4, and 5. This is kind of a transition year, and we're not playing terribly, but I expect to be 2-4 after this week with Indy and Houston coming up. So this can get really bad really quick, and I'll be glad I didn't trade my first round pick or my second. Or I could end up 4-4 or 5-3 if things break well tomorrow against the Niners. So it can go either way. Obviously, the Niners are a fantastic team, fantastic coach or owner, whatever we call him here. Fantastic player, I guess. So we'll see. It's going to be a tough one. I got to get ready for that. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. I've been doing probably 20 minutes now. 30 minutes. Holy shit. Well, I'm sorry for the long episode again. I expected to get this in and out, but then I started talking about statistics and stuff and breaking down my offense, and boy, was that stupid. So, yeah, we're going to get out of here. Y'all have a good night, and as always, I'm going to try to do better next time.